such an asshole.
Now, I'm going to tell you a story. Now, sit down, grab your chairs, kid. Uncle Cap is going to tell you a story. I am old, and I have started to notice the women of my age, my generation, anecdotally, bits and evidence here and there of people I know, where I'm like, have you lost your freaking mind? Get it together, man. And just a little bit here. What's going on? And the where I've said, have you lost your damn mind? A lot of it is because these gals are working. They've been working long. A lot of them are professionals at their peak of their game. And if you did not know, once you get to be I guess apparently my age is the magic age. When you're in your late 40s, early 50s, then the world decides that they're like, oh, you got gray hair. Now we'll give you the executive management positions. So I know several great people, by the way. This is not a criticism of them, where they just, for lack of a better word, they crack. They've absolutely cracked. And I have a buddy who talks like the guy from the Honeymooners. Hey, Ralphie boy, they can't handle it. They just can't. They crack. That's what happens to them. That's why you need to give them something to do. Several years ago, I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll see. Okay, so I could see it happening in the real world. But then it dawned on me, I did a video quite some time ago where just in a complete, perfect, brilliant display of stupidity, some journalist feminists were complaining that Susan, the former CEO of YouTube, was retiring and stepping down, which I was like, well, yeah, I would too if I had millions, potentially billions, if you got the stock options at the right time. Like, I was like, shouldn't you send her off? And among the contradictory feminist journalists who wrote that article where they were contradicting herself, like, no, she's got to get back in the game. She can't. She must go. She must continue. I'm like, gal's in her mid-50s. Let her retire. What more does she have to do? When does the fun in your girl's life ever happen? Never? Okay, enjoy paying taxes all the time and commuting. At least you got that corner office, right? Right. Who loves you, baby? I need a sucker from Kojak. But what was the other thing with it was not only that how dare she retire, but also in the article, it was how, statistically speaking, where there actually is some empirical evidence, not just me witnessing this happening with my own eyes, that women experience burnout in corporations and careers at higher rates than men, which, absent other studies to verify, I'm just going to assume that somewhere in the ballpark of truth, we can make that claim. But in addition to these complaints and burning out, and I can't handle it, and crying and or just complaining, there has been equal amounts, even more, not even through the topic of career and burnout, but as I have gotten older, I've certainly seen this more and more, where girls, I even remember where girls were in their late 20s. Well, I never wanted to work. I'd be okay having a husband. I'd be okay being a kept woman, which, okay, on a philosophical level, sure, I would, show me some sugar mama MILF out over in Henderson. Yeah, I'll give it up. Yeah, you pay me millions. So there's an understanding there. But that has increased in frequency, where, again, it's not a poll, but I'm starting to get the impression there's a contingent of women who, well, I would like to have just been taken care of. I wouldn't have mind being the stay-at-home mom. Sometimes you hear that where, Hillary Clinton, like, well, I didn't have time to stay home and make cookies. Like, that's why you're so happy. No wonder. You're like the most happiest woman I've ever seen. But where I want to choose my words correctly so I don't get any arguments. I can be very clear. Where they may say that out of frustration or whatever, I think there is some authenticity without being hypocrites. Like, well, you stupid broads, you should have picked careers. That's not my criticism, and I'm not even going to point that out. What I'm saying is I still think it's congruent and not hypocritical because, okay, duh. Who wouldn't like to be taken care of? Like, oh, yeah, I have my career and all that, but You say, hey, Aaron, Miss Cougarlicious over at Lake Las Vegas wants to take care of you. Okay, screw you guys. I'm going to the fancy home over on Lake Las Vegas with Jessica. There's a cougar name. Jessica ends with a vowel. All right. Saucy. So there's obviously who wouldn't like to have a rich person? Who wouldn't like to be taken care of? There's also, I'm completely in 100% agreement with women where some guys as well, they just want money, they're gold diggers. But at the same time, like, yeah, but I think a lot more of that is they want to see that you got a job and some ambition and that you're not a financial pariah upon them or your parents or the government. Although you Democrat women just sure do love your Democrat government dependent men now, don't you? You must be flummoxed and confused. Well, he is collecting welfare, and I agree with that culturally, and that turns me on, but it doesn't work. I'm so confused. That being said, yes, women generally want a man who has a job, has employment, is going to be financially stable and not financially dependent upon them. And also two more ways. Statistically, it's good to have someone making more money, like in case, bad things happen. It's good to have a little bit of reserve, good to have financial stability. And then instinctually, even though women maybe in the frontal cortex, in the heart of hearts, they know, no, I want to work, I want to be independent, all that. You're never, like, can you guys not like girls with long hair and big boobs and long legs? No, you can't get rid of it. Girls cannot get rid of being attracted to a man who has his financial act together versus one who doesn't. And I think even you guys would say, well, why would I want to be friends with a guy who doesn't have his finances together versus someone who does? So I am 100% sympathetic with these girls that, you want a guy who is financially stable. Someone a little bit more. Oh, who's calling me now? Why are you calling me now? Why are you calling me now? Anyway, so I, as the economist, it came to me, it was like, okay, let's say deep in the heart of hearts, at some level, girls want a guy to take care of them because who doesn't from the logical economic wealth perspective? Let's also say a significant but unmeasurable percentage of women would deep down inside want that emotionally, but have been hoodwinked or somehow pressured by society that they have to make the feminist hive and their teachers and professors happy rather than themselves. And then let's just say there's some gals who like right on the up and up. I want to be the stay-at-home one. They're honest about it. So there's a significant percentage of women that either outright want to be taken care of or would like to in some kind of unconscious, instinctual, or perhaps very conscious, but hidden and dirty little secret way. I just want a man. Shh. Do you want to get killed? And I'm sure there's these diehards that just want nothing to know, strong, I don't need them. Okay, fine. So I asked unto myself, I says, Aaron's, you as the economist in the house, what do you suppose the chances are that the percentages of the guys out there could actually support a woman? Like in the olden days, like in the 50s, you knows what I'm saying? Like he takes care of the food, the clothing, and the shelter, and she's like the stay-at-home wife, wears the little heely heels, perhaps a little seam on the back. You wonder, maybe it goes all the way up, maybe it doesn't. Maybe she's just got a little, it stops right there. She got the crotchless panties on. Maybe we're going to have a little bit of sex in the kitchen. One of them after the kids go off to Sunday school, maybe me and the missus going to have a little fun. Maybe like that. Yeah. Anyway, and I was like, okay, because while you ladies have been doing your own quite revolutionary and serious and almost 180-degree economic choice changes, and where the focus has gone from family and men to career, education, ultimately yourselves, maybe, and men and family maybe are a distant fourth or fifth. Men have also been responding to these changes and the changes in the economy and the environment as well. And whereas a lot of guys are focusing, a lot of the media is focusing on women's delusional expectations of men. What is it? IGotStandardsBro.com. They've even written articles about it. Well, I said, well, wait a minute. We're not really looking at the supply of guys. And if there is some kind of expressed, latent, instinctual, hidden, or otherwise desire on the part of women for men to support them, like deep down inside you really want it. I said, well, what are the chance? What percentage of men out there can actually support a woman? So I dusted off my economist hat and I went to town. I started doing some number crunching. And here's what I came up with. And I have my other laptop here. That's the kitchen laptop. I use that one. This is the recording laptop. I use that one over there for the economics and the thinking. And so I will probably update the comment section below with my resources, but this all comes from, I believe, the Census Bureau data and then another website that has all the income distribution data. So you can see it here. So I went and I found out the first thing is, what is the average cost for a single person to live? And the average cost, the average expenses right now in the United States is $38,266. So I started that as my base, where it's like, okay, the guy's got to support himself. So at minimum, he's got to make 38 and change, $38,000, right? And we all know you girls aren't going to date no guy making any $38,000, right? So there's that. And then what I did is I started adding on the expenses that a man would incur at varying levels, depending on the expenses the woman would incur herself, because if a woman is going to be supported, to what level will she be supported? And so I'm just adding on these expected. I don't even go crazy with this. I kind of pretty conservative with it, but I add on these added expenses that would be assumed the guy would incur and therefore have to make to cover the cost of not only himself, but the woman he is supporting as well. So then there was some data that showed a family of four lives off of $84,000, implying $21,284 per dependent. I was not going to double the 38,000. You might be inclined to do that. Say, well, the average person spends $38,000, so you just double it. There's a guy and a gal, and now you're at 76. If I do the math right, 76. That's not correct, because you'd be sharing living expenses. So I thought just adding an added dependent as if it was a child, because the same food, okay, same clothes, all that other up. So a dependent, whether that's your wife or husband or the child or not, is $21,284,000. And so at that amount, the total amount now comes to $59,550. So now at each of these income stages, I'm going to tell you the percentage of men that make that money. We're going to have I got to add that other statistic. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The data did not really exist for that, for what I wanted to do, because it only gets worse. So if we add that $59,550, what percentage of marrying age men can support that, make that? And so the question then became marrying age. Well, a boy in his 20s, he's 20. I said, well, okay, technically that's marrying age. So I didn't do that. I did it at two different stages. I did 33, which is about the average marrying age man. So you girls can just what's the average marrying age man? If you ladies are average marrying age women, which would be 20 to 35, I believe, is the numbers. So roughly on average, the average bachelor in the market, 33 years old, what percent of American 33-year-olds make $59,550 to support you at this very basic bare minimum level of existence? 39%, only 4 in 10. Now I added another income group of people, another group of men, because women are willing to date a little bit older. And I put them right kind of at the beginning of their upper income levels, because there's more bachelors as you get older, as time goes on. Not as many people are getting married. So I went optimistically for you girls, find Mr. Big. And so I upped the age to 45. Ew, Grody, he has gray hair. Okay, but he's got money. I just wanted to show you the upper limits, okay? Give you a little bit of hope. So 49% of 45-year-old men make $59,550. So at bare, if you're okay living with hand-me-downs and what's it called? Goodwill, you're going to have to make food at home and all that, eat your meals at home, shoestring budget, 39% of 33-year-old men could support you, and 49% of 45-year-old men could support you. Now, marrying age women also have something very in common. And it has an effect. It has an effect on the calculus, on the finances, that you bring student loan debt. And I'll be bluntly honest, for really stupid, dumbass degrees that have no employability whatsoever. And it's going to be the guy who's going to have to pay that off. Average girl is carrying on the, here's where I had to do amortization to convert it into an annual or per annum statistics. So I think the average woman in the United States has $31,000 of debt. You amortize it at 7%. I believe at 5 years, you're looking at an added $3,684 per year for the foreseeable future that the man has to pay. That puts the total income amount he needs to make at $63,234, of which 35%, we're going down now, 35% of men 33 years of age can afford, and of which 45% of men 45 make. Then there's credit card debt. Average woman has less credit card debt than men. Good going, girls. But you still have some. I believe it's $6,200. Amortize that out over 5 years at a 15% interest rate. That's $2,400 per year. That brings the income up to $65,600, only of which only 32% of 33-year-old men make. You're below a third now. 1 in 3 men make that money of the prime marrying age. But the little gray hair Gen X or 45-year-old, 44% of them still make that money. Look at that. Look at that. Car loan. To be truly, you're going to need a car. And I was tempted to do the $700 a month payment that the average American has, but men have higher car loans because they're dumb than women do. So I looked it up and there was actual data. And so I amortized that out. We're looking at $4,200 per year added. That now brings up the total annual income your husband must make to $69,864. Only 31% of men 33 and older, 33 make that. 39% of 45-year-olds make this. 1 in 3. We're still here, girls. 1 in 3, which already means 2/3 of you are going to lose. Just pulling it out. I know because of the perfect mental state, those numbers will not, that reality will not register. You're going to insist that you're going to be one of that 3. And then let's continue on. There was other personal debt that was not mortgage. I did not include mortgage because if you have a house, you would be presumed to get rid of the house or move into that house and there would be no mortgage expense. So I eliminated that. Personal debt, which I didn't know what there was. I'm like, well, we got credit cards, cars, and student loans. What the heck is personal debt? We got a operating line. What do you got? Amortize us another $3,500. Now we're at $73,362. 28% of men 33 years of age make that money, and only 39%, 4 out of 10, make that money who are 45 years old. Now, here we had to be honest, and here I had there's no debt. I started looking up how much does a man have to make for a girl to date him. Because the problem that we have with the numbers so far is that this is the 38,266, the bare amount. And this is all the bare amount that the guy's going to do. And this assumes you don't get no new car loans. You don't get no new credit card debt. And we know that you're just not going to date a guy who makes $38,000 a year. You're going to want someone who makes more than that. And then plus all the other added income. So if you look at it, he's making $38,000, almost has to double it to cover all the added expenses with the debts that girls are already going to, the average girl's going to bring to the table. Men, it'd be the same thing if we flip it because men also have debt. I'm just looking at if one person decided to support the other. This is bare bones living. You're not going to be wealthy. And while I try to figure out, what does the average guy have to make in order to go on a date? Oh, no, money doesn't matter. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. And so I couldn't find any number to go with that I could then say, all right, girls want a guy when they're not intending to get married. They're not even thinking about marriage and getting supported or anything like that. So what was that number? And I couldn't find it. And then I figured, okay, well, that's just dating. So then on top of it, we'd have to have all these other expenses. And then I remembered looking at some polling data that I believe I unearthed for either the Book of Numbers or the Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex. And I remember it was a reverse engineer. It wasn't polling data. I had to go and get some income data. And I found out The polling was women wanted single men to make 58% more. And then when I imputed that into what the average single guy made, it was $68,000. And so I added that difference between the $68,000 base to what the $38,266 a guy just needs to survive. That's an added $29,734. So what I did to maintain intellectual honesty and to be as accurate as I could, ladies, I took the amount of money that you would need him to make dating, not married, not cohabitating, nothing, not him supporting you, which was $68,000, then added all the other debts you're going to bring to the table and the dependency of $21,000. When we add that all up together, hey, look at that. We get the magical six figs, $103,096, of which, sorry, girls, 1 in 8, 14% of 33-year-old men make that amount. But 23%, 1 in 4 of 45-year-old men make that. But we're now in the distinct minority. The odds are not good. Now, I says to the guys, hey, Cappy, I says, yes. Are you cynical enough? I'm like, no, man, I'm not cynical enough. I mean, you got to be more cynical than that, man. I say, watch me get my cynical on. I'm going to be so cynical. You're going to be cynical about my cynicism. I'm going to go like Dragon Ball Z, like super cynicism, but it's going to be poofy blonde hair. And I said, wait a minute. Hold on. Something ain't right. Dude, a significant percentage of you women already bring another man's child to the table? Isn't that a thing? Like, that's a significant percentage of the population, right? So I added 1, and here's how cynical I am. I didn't even say your own damn kid. I'm just going to assume this is just another man's kid, because that's going to come first before you have kids with the guy who's going to support you. Oh, and don't call me cynical. Just look up the data. What percent of single moms? It's just me. I'm just the bearer of the statistics. Don't shoot me. So now you got to plop on a whole other dependent. And this assumes you don't have any kids of your own, by the way. You don't get to have any kids with your newfound love. So we add on another 21,284. Now we're up to 124,380, of which 9% of 33-year-old men make, and 17% of 45-year-old men make. And depending on whether or not you have kids, your numbers are either 9 and 17% at 33 and 17 if you have a kid. Heaven help you if you have more. I didn't run the numbers for that. It just gets worse. But if you are not kidded, like you didn't have another man's kid, you knew enough not to do that, and you want what I would assume to be the average standard of living. We're not talking rich. We're talking just the guy who could carry himself, support himself, make 68 grand, then bring in another. Like, you think about it, $103,000 for a family of 2 is not that much. It's not that much. So you'll get used cars, and maybe you're going out dining every once in a while. You'll be okay as long as you don't have no kids. That's 14%, 1 in 8, and 23%, 1 in 4. That means, depending on your age, if you're not willing to date up, 7 out of 8 of you are not going to find that. And by the way, these are just the numbers of the guy's income. This doesn't mean they actually want it. They're going to go along with this either. This is like the absolute highest percent. But if you're willing to tolerate some gray pubes of a 45-year-old, it's 1 in 4. Three out of 4 of you aren't going to make it. You're by numbers. The men there's not enough men who make enough money to do this, which should be understandable because you said you didn't need them anyway, and you were going to support yourself, right? So men are kind of like, well, all I need to do is make 38,000. Which, if the numbers, I would love to see what happens to these numbers as generations age, because the Gen Zers who are not 33 nor 45, the Zoomers, boy, I wonder if they're even going to put up numbers like that. Because why do they have to? They don't have to. They can get by on very little. But then there are 2 other variables. One I accounted for, one I did not. Because if I wasn't cynical enough, when I looked at the data, because I didn't say it, I saw that it said gross income when I was looking at the income percentages, gross. And when the numbers we've added are expenses. Those are not net of taxes. In other words, the men have to make the amounts that I've been listing after tax. And I only focused on the two latest numbers where the guy either makes 103,000 to support two people or 124,000 to support three people, assuming you brought a kid from another relationship. and we focus on that at those income levels. Well, oh, by God, by golly, is that I see in the distance well-endowed Molly? And she's yelling something like, what is that, Molly? Get closer, but bounce the boobs more. She's running and it's all slow motion. The sun's behind her. Hair is going up her boobs. She gets finally close up and she says, women vote for Democrats. And I'm like, oh, you're right. They do. And so, as all you women want these rich men, I can understand that, but then you vote as a group, not individually, of course, but as a whole, you women vote to take their money away. And I don't mean to burden you girls. If you were interested, you can look it up. But if you're making six figures, your overall income tax rate, and not to mention sales and property and all this other stuff, you're easily in the 40% tax bracket. So I had to account for taxes. So when we include a 40% tax rate, because he has to have a net amount of money to pay for all these things. In order to support two people, one guy supporting one wife, he needs to make $144,334 a year. Okay. Of which 7% of 33-year-old men make, and only 13% of 45-year-olds make. And if you have another man's kid, or you would like to have your own with this new guy, that jacks it up to $174,132, of which only 4%, 1 in 25 men of the age of 33-year-olds make. You have a 96% chance failure rate. If you have a kid, that's still dependent. Now, the kid's out of the house, okay, they're gone. You go back to the other numbers. But if you want a man to support you and you have a kid and you want him to be around the 30-something-year-old age, you're looking at 4%. Only 4%. And I'm not saying that like, ha ha. I'm saying it, the men just don't exist. There are not the numbers of men to support you girls. There isn't. I mean, even if you didn't have a kid, 7%, 93% of the men can't support you at that age. And then if we go to the 45-year-olds, which is only marginally better, all right, you have 13% if you don't have a kid, or it's still 1 in 8. And then if you have another kid that's still a dependent, you're down to 9%. There's not enough men who make enough money to support it. And so the whole reason I went through this is to tell you all that give that up. Like whatever remnant dream you might have of that, whether it's a dirty, dark secret you dare don't let the feminist hive mind find out that you just want to be a stay-at-home mom and raise the kids, or whether you could be honest about it. They're like, well, here's your statistics. Good luck. And like you might want to learn to do some accounting or become an engineer because there just isn't enough men to go around. Or you have that instinctual thing where after busting your ass off with a career and all that, I just really want a man to take care. I understand. The universe, nature, Mother Nature understands. Psychologically, we all understand. Economically, reality, don't matter. And that's what trumps everything else. There is not enough men in the American economy to support women. A stay-at-home wife. I mean, you could support women emotionally, psychologically, ethically, of course. But if you are looking for a traditional life, a stay-at-home lifestyle, your numbers are bad, very bad. Not impossible, but bad enough that you absolutely have to make contingency plans, plans B. So if your plan A was, I just want to be a stay-at-home wife and live my husband and support him and all that, or deep down inside, that's what you wanted. Okay, good. Sometimes I go to the ice cream store and I want mint chocolate chip. Well, you better plan. And if I looked it up on the internet, 96% chance there ain't no chocolate chip. I better have a plan B in mind. But I think women are doing that quite admirably, though, with most of you are going off into college independent. So at least the stated philosophy of independence is good. You're going to college, getting your degrees, getting jobs and working. And because you're going to have to, you're absolutely going to have to. And with the tax rates you voted in on yourselves as well, like you definitely are going to have to work more. But for any one of you who had some kind of dream or hopes or desires, well, yeah, you can have dreams. There's a 4% chance and a 9% chance, depending how old you want to go, if you have another kid. And if you don't have a kid, those statistics are drastically increased to 7% for 33-year-olds and 13% for 45-year-olds. So link below, because finances are going to be very important now. There's a link to a couple of my books and resources and courses down there. The first link is called The Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI in the Pursuit of Women. It's written for men, but maybe ladies might want to pick that up to do some more further research and statistics into your chances. You all might also like The Menu, Life Without the Opposite Sex, because they're forecasting half the people aren't going to be married by 2030. So that's going to provide an existential crisis for you to figure out what to do in your life. That I didn't link below. But then there's other stuff linked below. I think courses to get your financial act together. It literally says that. That's through Teachable. My Subscribe Star channel. And then my Amazon affiliate program. If you'd like to go and buy some stuff through that Amazon affiliate link, I get a little bit of commission and cut. You don't pay anything extra. And it comes right out of Jeff Bezos's pocket. Isn't he nice? All right. I'm going to go on with, what time is it? Going on with Pop. Turns Pop in 40 minutes. Okay. Let's go to the Super Chats very quickly and have ourselves a treat. Ah, man, I love this starred thing. They all conveniently compile right there for me. Oh, that's so cool. Sam Whiskey, the most American name in America. 10 generous dollars. Cappy, is the gravitational force of socialism stronger than marriage in America? Oh, absolutely. What do Sam? Divorce rate up, cohabitation rate up. Even when you cohabitate, it still has the same effective failure rate as marriage, 50% failure rate. Women have vote, generally speaking, it's not an opinion. Women vote for the state. They vote for more government money at the expense, generally, not always, at men. Look at polling that women have reprioritized politics. Oh, but come on, Sam, you know this. Look at everyone's behavior. Marriage. I mean, who's getting married? My Truth, the king, $5. Let them have corporate America. They enjoy work culture more than the dudes I heard. Well, I'm all for women entering corporate America. I sincerely am. I want women to get master's degrees, bachelor's degrees. I want you to be the engineers. I want you to be the accountants. I want you to go to work. I want you to make all the money. I want you in the charge. I want the Sheryl Sandbergs working 80 hours a week. I want Susan over at you. I want them up there. I want you girls working. Absolutely. I'm going to open a stay-at-home husband school, workout, lay pipe, and be trophy husband for Girl Boss. Well, My Truth, send me some pictures. And ladies, if you want yourself truth, we just flip these numbers. Ladies, if you're willing to spend, if you can make $100,000 or $124,000, you could be the sole breadwinner and support a house husband. If I flip it, it's almost the exact same for men and women. There's very little difference. So ladies, guys, now I didn't look up income distribution for women, but ladies, if you make $124,000, I could bring another kid to the family. You like other women's children? Pixels going their own way. 25 Polish zlotys, Philippine pesos. I could support a woman, but do I have to? Also, Uncle Sam will always outbid me with my own money. Yeah, no, I mean, I believe with various government assistance, women really don't need. You need to make over $60,000. The average man needs. Otherwise, a woman will get more money from the government through various state and local, and that depends on local and state support as well. My Truth, $2. Cappy's old. How old is she? Q Price is Right music. Brian Dupree, $2. Most could technically, none should logically. What percent of men could support a woman? Most men could. If there were no debts, if we all fixed our own homes and men were handy. Now, if men were actually men and could, like Joker, build your own house, maintain your own car, like how men's used to be in those horrible 50s, we could do it. They got by on a lot less. If you want, go get my book, Poor Richard's Retirement. You'll see how they did it. But I just don't see women they won't tolerate that lower standard of living. I mean, tell me, girls, if I'm wrong, but you're not going to darn socks, right? You're not going to tend a garden, right? Nonstop Dre, $2. Did you calculate the current or old inflation rate? That's modern. Oh, Dre, thank you very much. I'm sorry. I wasn't pessimistic enough, ladies. I forgot this. Those numbers include men who are married. Married men make a lot more than single men. So the numbers are even worse than what I list. I thank you for reminding me, Dre. Ladies, the numbers are even worse than 7.4% and 13.9%. It's even worse if you would want them not to be married. I forgot about that. I couldn't find the data to back it out. Oh, I can't believe he was married. He didn't tell me. Well, 7-Step Survival. Check out his channel, $5. I'm coming to Rapid City mid to end of July. Would you like to go for a hike, sir? Yeah, email me. Email me, please. You've been very kind to the show. Dr. Paradox. You don't have to donate anymore, Doc. $5. Wife and I wish this was taught to these kids these days, like a brick in the face, pallet of bricks. They had home economics. They had it where it's like, you had to do a family budget because there was no welfare. 1965 came along. Oh my God, the government. Oh my God. And I don't know. I'm going to have to ask some baby boomer women. I'm like, where did the bee get in your bonnet? What was with the man hatred back then? We don't need no man. I understand philosophically after reading several feminist books, actually. I understand that. I'm like, okay, but didn't mean they were your enemy. I don't know why, but that is like, what is the benefit? Take that Miller Lite commercial. What is the benefit of saying men are stupid for liking girls in bikinis? What? I don't know. I don't know what the benefit is. Maybe they want to smite back at men. Maybe retroactively get back at all those. I have no, and I don't care. But hey, I ain't got no kids. I'm going to die in a good 35 years, and that is really all your guys' problem. Donna Hannaford. Oh, my Australian love interest. $5 Australian. I'm supporting a bloke that has 4 kids, no job, and a dope addiction. Yell at me, Cappy. I need it. Getting ready to walk after I get his dog fixed. I don't know why you're doing that, Donna. I honest to God don't. I can't make you changes. I mean, what? You don't have any other options? You're better off single. I mean, you want to support me? I don't have 4 kids. You can just send me a check. I'm like probably a fraction. If you want to send me $100 Australian a month, we call it even. That'd be fine. I'll send you pictures. You have supported, dear Donna. Your donation has helped support a bachelor with his cigar habit. I'll be sitting there. You get black and white pictures of me. Adopt a bachelor. I think it'd be a great idea. With your donation, you can help Bobby afford whiskey. And he's just sitting there. Nonstop trade, $2. Married guys make more because they have to. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. Married men do make more. They make 40% more than the single guy. So if you want to back it out, let's just call it the guy's got to make 200,000, which I haven't done the numbers on that. But oh no, I'm sorry. It wouldn't affect the income. It would affect the statistics. What percentage of men are even in that pool? But there you are. So, all right, that's it. Oh wait, one more. Osama Abdu. Hey, what's up? AC, are you one of the most you are one of the most respected men in the manosphere due to your intelligence, humor, and unflinching honesty. Rare in this space. Your thoughts. You are 100% right. You are 100% right. And it has nothing to do with those being very kind things you said. Of course, I'm good looking and intelligent and humor and unflinching in my honor. Yes, naturally. Naturally. Yes, of course. Well, you think I'm going to disagree? So thank you for the very humbling comments, Osama. I appreciate that. It's not really any of those things. It was being burned out, having 0 F's to give, being angry. I will say I am intelligent. That was tested. I know I'm intelligent. But in giving 0 F's to give, just being able to tell the truth, not because I'm bold or courageous, because I want to piss off all the right people. I mean, this video is a perfect example. I have played that one perfectly as an economist would. No bias, no things. But bringing that up is going to piss off all the right women, isn't it now? Because they've been hypocritical. Like, I don't need, deep down inside, I'm guessing some do. But right now, and this is where we get to do our little dance and our joy. It's like Russia trying to draft up more troops. Like, I think you killed them all. I think they're all dead. There ain't any left. It is mathematically impossible for women to go back to traditionalism. And that is the cost. That is the cost of their nice little feminist experiment they've had. And I am only more than happy to mathematically prove it. Being intelligent or honest or something is completely secondary. Dr. Paradox, $2. Married guy makes more, want dying breed. Jason McAllister, $5. Nice shirt, enjoying the show. What YouTube channels do you watch? I watch more modernly. I watch Critical Drinker, Endymion, It's a Gundam, Turd Flinging Monkey, but he's not on YouTube. He's on alternative channels. Laser Pig, the Tank Museum, Anton, the astronomer. What? There's another geek. Oh, Nerdrotic. I like Nerdrotic. I think that's all that comes to mind now. That's all that comes to mind now. My Truth, $2. Send on my first house husband graduate. He's amazing. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do the adopt a bachelor thing. I'm gonna do it. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys later. Links to everything down below. Toodles.